to another episode of Canvas Commentary. On this episode, we have Patricia, an abstract artist and friend from the Visionary Art Collective. Inspired by a lifetime in New York City, Patricia draws from the energy, diversity, and rhythm of the neighborhoods, architecture, crowded streets, and subways to create expressive abstract paintings. Join us as we talk with Patricia about her artistic journey, her creative process, and how the complexity of city life finds its way into the canvas. Don't forget to like and subscribe. So, hello, Patricia, right?
Yes.
Okay, because
Never Patty. Never Patty.
never Patty. Well, my mom's the
Never
same
Patty.
way. She's Barbara, and people try to call her Barbie, and she like punches them in the face. It's really funny. But Patricia, welcome. If people don't know, Patricia and we talked about it in Joseph's. There was a class that Victoria Fry, the owner of Warren's Contemporary, is a part of, and she joined us together, and we've known each other for about a year now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love your work. I am so excited for you to be on the podcast.
Thank you. And thank you so much for inviting me. This is really fantastic. I love that you're doing this. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
My pleasure. Everyone in the class, I was like, they have to be a part of this. You guys were the first
That's so
ones.
nice.
Katie was the first one that I thought of. I texted, but she hasn't. She's been busy, so she's going to try to get in there here soon. But
Yeah, that's great though. It's
yeah,
great. It's a pleasure to be here, Derek.
thank you. And if you don't know me, my favorite, just don't call me you or anything. Just keep using my first name because I love the New York accent saying Derek because I don't know why. It just
I
like
was gonna
tickles.
say,
Yeah, tickles the
I was
very
gonna say,
brain.
I hope it doesn't come out too much, but
No,
when I get really comfortable, you'll really hear it. So
no, it tickles my brain in a good way. I love hearing people say Derek in a New Jersey or New York accent. It's the best.
that's
Um,
funny.
so to introduce yourself, what is your art style and how, from start to finish, to describe it?
Okay, I've come a long way in my style. I used to think representational art was it. You had to draw technically perfect and it had to look like the thing, and the more I did that, the more bored I became because I wasn't feeling anything with the thing I was drawing. I had to be
Yeah.
super connected to it. Um, and so then I just started thinking about, well, what drives me? And I love color. And I love expressing myself through color and through shape and form. So I said to myself, well, I guess I would describe myself as an abstract expressionist. And
Hmm.
basically that's what it is. I'm really influenced by color and a sense of place and memory. So I internalize the things around me and it comes out on the canvas in an abstract way. So I don't know if that's clear or not. It's hard to describe.
Okay,
But
so when you start a painting, does it start with does it start with like a Monet, this is the emotion I want to, or this is the picture I want to display, or
no,
okay,
it's kind of like I will get an intention based on a memory or a place I've visited. For example, recently I've been thinking about a very pivotal year for me was 1979. I'm going to date myself, but oh well.
no,
Um, and that year, between the music, the art scene downtown, the Basquiat stuff I saw all over the street before I even knew that it was Basquiat, I've been thinking a lot about that. So I created a series of paintings based on that year. So
okay,
what I did was I got a playlist from 1979 and I just listened to it. I didn't pull out any art supplies, I just listened to the music. Then, based on that, I started thinking about the colors and the streets and the everything that memories brought up for me,
Right.
and I created a color palette. And then from there, I just start putting colors on the canvas. Now, I can't get too specific with my intention because then I get tight and then I start like, no, this is not good. This is terrible. This isn't this.
Mm,
So I have to keep it really loose. So it's a fine balance between a loose intention and a plan.
okay.
So that's basically how I work. Then it becomes quite a call and response on a canvas. And I feel if I feel I'm drifting too far off the mark, I'll stop and I'll just put it away for a day and then jump back in, put that playlist back on, and then jump back into that feeling and that vibe. So that's basically how I work.
You work in acrylics or oil?
Um,
What?
I was trained in oil. I
Okay.
love oils, but I work in acrylics only because we adopted our daughter when she just graduated college, so 20
Yes.
years ago.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And when we brought her home, I had all the oil paints in her, what was going to be her room. And I'm
Um,
like, oh my gosh, these are so toxic. I can't do this. So I got rid of them all and I switched to acrylics. It was a bit of a learning curve because they dry so fast,
mhm.
but mostly acrylics, inks, and mixed media. That's
Okay.
what I work in.
When did you realize that art was more than a hobby for you?
That's a really good question. Um, I've always been, and I'm sure every artist says this, I've always been in the arts somehow.
Mm.
In fact, when I was little, I have a clear memory of this. I should have brought the crayons with me.
Oh,
I was like 7 or 8, and I had that big box of Crayola crayons with the sharpener in the back that, was
64.
like yeah,
Yep.
exactly. And there were two colors in there. One was the color of cantaloupe, one was the color of honeydew. So
Okay.
orange and green, but very soft. And I remember going up to my brother and saying to him, these are the same. They're the same color. And he looked at me like I was crazy. And he went and screamed at my mom, like, I don't know what's wrong with her. She said these two colors are the same color. But years later, what I realized what I was doing or noticed, they were the same value.
Ah,
So at 7, 8 years old, there was something about it I recognized was similar, even though the colors were different. So I
yeah.
always had this like, that was always in me. Um, I wanted to go to art school. My parents were like, no way, you can't, you're not going to make money. Now, I went to high school in the 70s. So my dad was a cop. My mom was a stay at home mom. So they're like, no, you can't be an artist. You're not going to be able to fend for yourself. But in the back of my mind, I always wanted to do it. So I kept at it, um, taking classes on the side, got a corporate job, had nothing to do with art, but always took classes. But it wasn't until, to answer your question, that my daughter was little and going to school where I said, wow, I finally have a moment because I had quit my corporate job when we adopted her. I finally have a moment to do my own thing. And that's when I realized, oh, this is more than just me wanting to draw and sketch. And about 4 years ago, when Russia invaded Ukraine, excuse me, I'm part Ukrainian, so this was a subject near and dear to my heart. I did a 100-day project, paintings on 4x4 or 5x5 squares, and I decided to sell them and donate the proceeds to global giving.
Oh,
And I sold them like that. I mean, they went like that. And that's when I said, oh, I could start making money from this if I want. So let's
uh-huh.
get a little bit more serious. So that was the real serious part started like 4 or 5 years ago.
Wow. That's
And that's when I started applying to galleries and that
yeah.
kind of thing.
And you are not represented, right?
Mm-mm.
So anyone
No.
watching, right? We we got a good talent right here. Um, so what themes and emotions show up in your art consistently?
Consistently, it's how it feels
Mhm.
to be in New York City at various moments in time,
Oh,
based on my lived experience and my current experience. That consistently shows up. Sometimes I wish it wouldn't because I'm like, but I want to do something else. But that kind of drives my practice. Um, Also, if I'm away on vacation somewhere, I'll come back and, there'll be a beach scene that will pop out. It's like I
Mhm.
don't plan these things. It just kind of subconsciously, I've learned that it all gets in. No matter what you're doing, where you are, it all gets in and it all comes out on the canvas in some way. So basically, that's what shows up a lot.
Wow, that is awesome. So I kind of I kind of asked this one, but like from start to finish, does all your paintings start with like music or like an energy?
Usually,
Okay.
but I'll listen to the music before I paint. Once I start painting, I have to, it has to be quiet. And I think it's because there's so much noise I'm surrounded with 24/7
Yes.
that I just need like quiet as you can get here. Anyway, there's still the occasional ambulance and
Yeah.
whatnot, but it has to be quiet. And the energy I always start with is black ink, a big brush, and just like splash it on the canvas.
Oh, wow. So, what's some fears that you had to overcome as an artist?
Inner critic, feeling not good enough,
Yes.
um, thinking everyone in the whole wide world has an art degree, which I don't have. I have a business degree.
Yep.
I have a master's in art education, um, but I don't have an MFA. I don't have a BFA. So that was a big hurdle for me because I felt like, well, I don't have the degree, so how can I be an artist?
Hmm.
That took a long time for me to get rid of that limiting belief and say no, it just because you have a piece of paper. I mean, I have a business degree. I'm not a CEO,
Yes.
So, I just kind of like got over that. And the more I got into my art, the more I just don't even pay attention to that. I'm like, okay, thank you for protecting me. Sit in the back seat. I don't need to hear you right
Yep.
now. So,
Silencio Bruno, if you want to quote,
see.
if you want to quote Disney. I love
Yeah.
that uh, naming that inner voice and just telling it to shut up.
Yeah, I mean it's hard. It's always there. And that's
Yeah.
the other thing. It will always be there because we're wired for protection, right?
Yeah.
So anytime you go into something the unknown, your inner subconscious is like, "No, don't do that. It's not safe."
Yep.
But it's like, "No." And that awareness has helped me a lot. It's like, "No, this is fine. I'll be fine. It's just paint."
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So, what would your 16-year-old self think of your current work and your current position?
my 16-year-old self would be so proud of me because my 16-year-old self got slammed by my art teacher um, when the project was to interpret lyrics to a song in
Mm-hmm.
collage form. Beautiful, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I took a Beatles song. Um, I forget which song it was now. I should not forget. But anyway, it was a Beatles song, and I did what my interpretation of the lyrics.
Okay.
She looked at me and she said, "This is not the assignment. You failed the assignment." And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, okay, but this is art.
Yeah.
And this is my interpretation of the lyrics, was the assignment. So now looking back on that, I'm like, okay, I'd be super proud of myself for sure.
Yeah. So, what made it fail? Like, was it too abstract? Was it too?
I don't think it was too abstract because it was actually a landscape scene.
Oh.
So, and just to say this, I went to Catholic school, so I
Oh.
couldn't really question the decision. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was kind of like, you failed the assignment, let's move on. And I'm like, Okay. Like there was no format for me to say, well, why? Could you tell me why?
Yeah.
So I don't really know what she was looking for, but I really don't know.
She might have
Oh, it
hated the
was I'll
Beatles.
Follow the Sun. That was the
Followed.
song. I'll
Okay.
Follow the Sun.
She
Yeah.
might have hated the
So
Beatles, you know?
maybe she did. Maybe she did.
Because that was probably around the time where they said, they compared themselves to Jesus, you know?
Oh, you know what? That's a very good point.
Yeah, it wasn't to do
Probably.
with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so do you create more for yourself or for an audience?
I never create for an audience. It's
Yep.
always for myself. It's like if I create for an audience, I'm not being authentic.
Hmm.
It brings me back to the represent, and this is no diss to anyone who does representative art because I think it's amazing.
Yep.
But for me, it brings me back to it has to be technically perfect if I'm creating for an audience, and
Yes.
I don't want to go there,
I understand that.
So yeah, so for me, it's for me because then I can be authentic, I can be myself. Now, sometimes I hate what I do and it doesn't meet the mark, but it's got to be for me. And when I read Rick Rubin's The Creative Act and he says that in the book, I'm like, yes, that was like the greatest validation. He's like, just do it for you, never the audience. Because you
Yeah.
get tripped up,
Yeah.
because then it's like, well, they may not like this or, well, they don't like this color palette. And who am I being true to? Not
Yep.
me.
No.
And an audience can change on a dime,
Yeah.
here today, gone tomorrow.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, and that's true. And adding to your point, I love Art and Fear, and
yes.
and I have the perfectionism. So like he's like, you're not going to be Monet. You're not going to change the world. In my head, I still do, but um, it's just like do it to start doing it and let
Hmm.
everything else come in. Like, don't expect a like a industry shift because of your paintings, you know?
Right.
And I like, ooh, I love that.
Yeah. And everything we do as artists, even if we think it's a fail, will leads us to the next step.
Yes,
So if you stop doing it because you don't like it, well, you're never going to get any further than that particular moment. So
yes.
I just keep on going.
Keep on going. So, what has
Hmm.
been your biggest professional lesson so far?
Oh, okay. Biggest professional lesson so far is not to undersell my work.
Yes. Tell the
Because when
story.
yeah, oh, that's right. You do know this story.
Yes.
Um, I submitted to a gallery and it was my first big-ish gallery to get into. It was
Yep.
a tiny painting. It was a 6 by 6 small work show. And I listed it for X amount of dollars. I didn't know. It was my first time doing this, right?
Yep.
And got accepted, fine, and it sold. So I get the Venmo, and it's for double the price. And of course, I think, oh no, they sent the wrong Venmo to some. They didn't mean me because I didn't put this price down. So I contact them, and I'm like, I think you made an error. They're like, oh no, the person who bought the painting believed it was worth twice as much as what you listed it for. And I'm like, okay, that's it now. I am scaling up. So that was my biggest lesson because I'm kind of the type of person who used to be more like this. Oh, I can't do that. I'm a people pleaser. That's too high. I didn't believe in myself enough. But now it's like, no, I have X amount of years experience. I have all the time that goes into a painting, the cost of the materials. It's work. It's
Yes.
work and it deserves to be valued. So
Yes.
that was my biggest lesson
My
so far. So far.
my favorite, because I've learned this lesson too. My art teachers, which I hope I've talked to them. They might be on the season finale, and then they're going to interview me. Um,
Oh, that's fabulous.
yeah. So they uh, it was a charity auction, silent auction for paintings. Let's say I spent 2 months on this still life of what was it? It was lilies, and I was like, I don't care, just put a number. And my art teacher, out of like, stopped the class after she heard that and went lit in on me and was like, you do not do that. You do that, like, you put you know your worth and all this stuff. It was so funny. And I don't know if she remembers she did that, but I'm going to ask her. But she was like, she went in on me that day. It was so funny.
Wow.
Yeah, she was like,
Wow.
you know your worth. And I was like, okay, $30 then. She was like, no. And I was like, but it's a high school in Harrisonburg, Virginia art show. Nobody's gonna spend more than, something. I think I made like $50 off of it, but
That's good.
yeah.
That's good.
It was in a restaurant. One of the moms owned a restaurant and she loved it and she put it in the
Oh,
restaurant. So
wow. Oh, that's so cool.
yeah,
That's great.
I never went to go see it. And then when I graduated, I was like, oh, let's go see it. And then they closed. So
Oh,
yeah,
no, but it's true. I mean, we really have to know our worth.
yes,
And that's a lot of journaling to do too. You know,
yes,
I'm a big journaler, so I get a lot out in that way as well.
yeah.
But that's important.
So what is an idea for your paintings that you're obsessed with right now?
Hmm. I would have to say this has been going on for years,
Okay.
and I haven't done anything about it yet, really. Water towers. I
Wow.
am surrounded by water towers out my windows, and I love them. I love them so much. And I've been thinking about doing a series of water towers. I've tried,
Uh-huh.
but they all look the same, you know? So
Hmm.
I'm trying to come up with a way to just make that idea go already. I was in a water tower show in April in Brooklyn, and
Yep.
everybody got the same template, and we all had to decorate it however we wanted, you know. And so I did like a cupcake. Took corrugated cardboard, made it look like a cupcake with a cherry on top. Uh, and it was great to go to that show and see them all look exactly alike, but not. You
Yeah.
know, it was the same shape, but everybody's take on it was so unique. It was really beautiful. So that got that idea started up in me again. So one of these days I will do something with water towers for sure.
Well, and also, I'm a big advocate for looking at um, the current uh, business models, and it can be the same because Andy Warhol painted Maryland the exact same over and over again. In I take it as, inspiration of, Hollywood culture. They want
Mm-hmm.
to turn everyone into a blonde bimbo woman.
Right.
You can do the same thing, and every water tower is a little different, but it's all
Mm-hmm.
the same because you have to have that source of life in the city, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. There's actually one water tower in Brooklyn that is full size, life size, bejeweled. I mean, it's got like
Oh,
stained glass on it. It is absolutely stunning to see, and it's so inspiring. Whenever I see that, I'm like, yes, I got to get back to that idea.
where is it at?
You know, I don't even know the location because although I'm born and raised in New York City, I don't know Brooklyn that well.
Okay,
So I think it's somewhere on the border of Brooklyn and Queens. I'm not really
okay.
sure though.
Uh, because if you didn't, I was in homeless in New York, and I would stay in hostels in Brooklyn. So I've been from
Ah,
Bed-Stuy to Dumbo to all of them.
okay.
Brooklyn I know, but
Oh,
or I
wow.
used to. It's
Yeah,
completely changed. Everything has changed. Um,
everything has
I
changed.
know. I went back to we came to visit New York maybe whatchamacallit, how many years ago? It was about 8 years ago, and even through 8 years ago, I was like, nothing's the same.
No, it's sad.
Yeah,
It makes me sad.
yeah.
But what are you gonna do?
The only things that stay the same are the corporate buildings that are still there.
That keep going up. In our neighborhood now, the ABC where they used to film the Regis and Kelly show and
Ah,
ABC News and all that, they knocked it down
oh
just like a
no.
month ago. And they're building like it's supposed to be as tall, if not taller, than the Empire State Building.
Okay.
And the neighborhood is freaking out. This is my neighborhood, kind of.
Yeah.
I'm like 10 blocks from there. The neighborhood's freaking out because it's like, this neighborhood doesn't have skyscrapers,
Yeah.
And it's like, just, anyway, that's a whole nother separate conversation.
We'll sit and reminisce about New York then. I'll tell you all about my journey. Um, but what does success look like to you as an artist?
Hmm. I would say, as long as I'm creating every day
Mm-hmm.
and being true to myself on the canvas
Mm-hmm.
and learning from it, I
Yes.
think that's success. I really do. I was a middle school art teacher,
Yes.
and I think that's where that comes from. Because had you asked me that 20 years ago, I probably would have said, oh, selling all my art.
Yes.
But when I taught my students, and I taught high at risk students, they didn't believe in themselves at all.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't think that they could ever do art. I mean, they laughed at me when I started teaching,
Oh
and they're
wow.
like, we can't do that. And I'm like, yeah, you can.
Yeah.
And my husband worked at the time, he's retired now, for the music industry. And he would give me all the latest rap songs, CDs that were not yet released. And he's like, you can't let it go outside your classroom, but you can you can play these three tracks from this CD. I would put it on, and the kids would be like, how do you know this music? But it was a way for me to get my street cred with them.
Yeah.
I would say, like, if you guys wanna, listen, hear the songs, you got to do your work, and this is what we're doing, and I will help you. I'm your coach. And they started to see that they could get this stuff done, and their self-esteem skyrocketed. And at the end of the year, we had an art show, and their parents came, and their grandparents came, their caretakers came, and they were amazed. And people in other teachers, it was a big school, that there were four schools in the building. Other teachers would come down the hall and they would say to me, you got them to do that? And I'm like, yeah.
Nice.
It's a matter of relationship and respect. It's like they're 12, 13, 14. They need to be heard too, but
Yes.
they taught me to believe in yourself and keep going. So I think that really meant a lot to me, that experience. It was an incredible experience. I mean, I took knives away from kids
Ugh.
and had to go to court because of it. I mean, it was like, ugh, heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But it taught me so much about myself, about resilience, about self-esteem, that I think that's where my notion of success comes from, that experience.
Wow. That's crazy. Um, how do you handle critics?
Mm, that's a tough one. It always stings, right?
Yep.
It always stings no matter what. I mean, even a small little backhanded comment will
Yes.
sting, and it still stings. But I just say to myself, go back to I'm creating this for me, not for an audience.
Mm.
And that makes it feel better. But I also think, and I learned this from my mentor, I took an amazing mentorship with Ty Nathan Clark,
Okay.
and I took it this past spring, and he's just phenomenal. He taught us, because it was a group, any amount of criticism don't blow it off completely. Look at it. Step outside, let it sting, feel it.
Hmm.
Then step outside of it and say, is there any truth to this? Because sometimes there is,
Yes.
and be honest with yourself. And if there's no truth to it, just let it go. Because
Yeah.
in your heart and soul, if it hit a nerve and it's like, oh yeah, maybe that is a little too like whatever. But then just let it go. And that has really stuck with me. And Jerry Saltz, the art critic, also talks a lot about that too. He's like, just get to work, you big babies. Don't listen to what anybody says. So that's, I'm a work in progress with that because even when you get rejected from shows and things, it still stings.
Yeah.
But I allow myself the sting, period.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, move on. Just keep going. Keep going.
Yeah. As long as it doesn't
So.
stop you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Um, is there a piece that has changed you as an artist?
Yes. I saw Georgia O'Keeffe's skull back in she had a show, I think it was 1982 at the Met, and
Okay.
it just blew me away. Blew me away. Her
Oh
style,
wow.
her use of color,
Hmm.
the abstract but not abstract real of it, and that when I saw that, I was like, I want to do this. This is what I want. And the funny thing is, 2 years prior to that, I had no idea who she was. And I took a drawing class at School of Visual Arts,
Yeah.
and we were doing a charcoal drawing of a potted plant. And wonderful drawing teacher, Andrea Zakin, came around the room and she said to me, oh, your art very much resembles, I thought she said, George O'Keeffe. There I go. There's no internet, there's no computers, there's nothing yet, right? It's
Yeah.
1980. There I go, running to Barnes and Noble, trying to find the artist, George O'Keeffe. Of course, there's no George O'Keeffe. Came up empty handed until like I don't even know how much later I'm in Barnes and Noble again and I see a coffee table book and it says Georgia O'Keeffe and I'm like, that's who she was talking about. And I open the book and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then to see her painting in person was just like, ugh.
Yeah.
And I was able to see the her museum and her house in Abiquiu in New Mexico and
Uh,
the Georgia O'Keeffe Museum, and it was just wow. But so she's my icon, hero, heroine.
Nothing. Okay, so I hope you have a different art crush, but that can be an art crush too, right? Ugh. Okay. What advice would you give for emerging artists?
Don't stop no matter what. Just keep going. Keep going. Even if you don't think it's coming out well, even if you're getting rejected, like Helen Frankenthaler says, getting rejected means you're putting your work out there, you know? Just keep doing it, keep going, because every step informs your next step. And that's one of my biggest lessons. You can't get to that place if you haven't worked through all the mess and the explorations and experiments and things like that. So just keep going.
Okay, so with this first section, we're getting into our sections now. Art crush. Who has influenced your artistic journey the most, other than Georgia O'Keeffe or George O'Keeffe?
I would say Basquiat,
Okay.
and for his tenacity
Yeah.
and the way he was able to just get everything that was coming at him and putting it on the canvas. I have a story about Basquiat too.
Yes.
Back before I knew who he was, and back before anyone knew who he was, I was walking downtown in Soho with my then boyfriend, who's now my husband. And this guy, big, looming guy with a trench coat and the crazy hair, came up to me, didn't say a word, had a rose and a postcard. And my husband is like, just keep walking, just keep walking.
Yep.
We don't know who, because this is New York in the 70s. So
Yep.
it's like, you have no idea who you're going to come across. It was Basquiat.
Wow.
Before Basquiat was Basquiat. Now, had I taken that postcard, could you imagine?
Yes.
What? He would have asked me for $5. That postcard would have been worth millions now, you
Yes.
know? Ugh.
Wow.
But anyway, so Basquiat, yes. And also, I'm really influenced right now by Cy Twombly
Okay.
because I love the way he incorporated text into his work. It's just loose and free flowing and becomes part of it. You don't think of it as text, it's just part of the painting. So I really love him, and I love Sarah Grillo,
Okay.
who I think is Argentinian, and she's very abstract, very urban urban influenced. I really like her work as well. So yeah, right now. But Basquiat and Georgia O'Keeffe are my two
Uh,
holy grails.
yeah. Nobody can do any wrong. Those two. Uh,
No, no.
and there's no shame in liking, them because there's a reason why people they change the industry. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? A lot of people
Yes.
I've noticed on here are like, "Oh, I don't want to say a major artist," and it's like, but it's okay to.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we learn from, when you go to art school, or even when I did my post baccalaureate program at School of Visual Arts, you learn from the masters.
Yes,
You're copying the masters to learn from them, you
yes,
know. I mean, I just recently went to the Met last week and saw the Raphael exhibit, which was unbelievable, and everyone was going crazy over his paintings, right?
yeah.
But I was more enraptured by his sketches
Oh,
because they were just these Conti crayon loose sketches. They were absolutely stunning,
I
and they were the templates for his paintings. But it was those sketches that were like, oh my gosh, like wow.
I
So
understand that completely because sketches, I'm not very a person to show my sketches because it is like the initial, hand stroke and all that stuff. And if that is like, if that's perfect, then what in the world are you going to do after that,
right, right. It's like sets the bar way too high. And it's like,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 You know what helped me with that too, with imperfection?
Yes.
10 years ago, I shattered my wrist,
Okay.
like completely shattered, and it
Oh.
was my dominant hand. I was so determined, I started drawing with my left hand.
Mhm.
And the funny thing was, when I did that, there was no inner critic because I think subconsciously I knew, well, you can't draw with your left hand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there was no expectation, there was no, and I just, and you know what? Some of those drawings and sketches I like better than the ones I can do now, with my right hand. So it's
Wow.
funny.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like whatchamacallit, Sherry Shepherd, if I remember correctly, has a book called A Hall Pass. And it's giving yourself that, like, it's okay to it's okay to be wrong. It's okay,
Right.
just like you said, wow. I never
Yeah.
thought
And
of
that,
that.
that was, I never thought of it either. And I'm like, holy cow, I don't have that little voice saying, no, redo that line. This
Yeah.
stinks. Nope. I just did what I could do. And wow, how great would that be to transfer that to this hand, you
Yes.
know?
Uh, this second segment is going to be called Two on an Easel, and I like to look at them now while you talk
Okay.
about them. So I'm pulling them up. Um, so, what is your last piece and your favorite piece? And describe them and whatever you want to tell about them.
Okay, my last piece is I actually have it right here too.
Okay.
I have I'm gonna try to do this. I'm not good at this.
You good.
That's kind of it. Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay. It's 24 by 24. Started off completely different.
Oh.
Underneath this, there are really super bright colors, dark colors. Actually, the next piece I talk about, it came out of that. I
Oh.
was going to make a larger painting of my favorite piece.
Okay.
And it wasn't really going anywhere. And then we went on vacation and I just let it go. When I came back, I was in the middle of my mentorship and I showed the painting in its original state to my mentor. And he was like, you might want to think about more negative space.
Hmm.
Just think about it. And I really thought about it. And I was influenced. We went to California. So I think I was influenced by the beach.
Okay.
And I just started painting over it, lighter colors, obliterating all those bright colors, and just kind of feeling into that beach energy. And that's why I named it Breathing Room, just because it's got a lot more negative space, a lot more calm, more of a calm feeling. And I really like that now. I mean, I really like it. At first, I didn't like it because I'm so bright color oriented, but
Yeah.
it really got me into now feeling into calmer colors.
It's beautiful. And
Thank
then
you.
your favorite piece?
My favorite piece. This is the piece that just got. This is going to be in an exhibit starting July 2nd.
Okay.
This is part of my New York City at Night series.
Okay.
So I did these little 8x8s. This is called Where Lights Are Stars. And this just came out how I envisioned it coming out. Not that I always envision things, but I just felt like this says New York City at night. For
Yeah.
me, it does. And the exhibit is called Harmony and Chaos,
Okay.
and it's about where structure comes out of chaos. So I think it kind of fit, obviously, since it got picked, but it fit the theme of the show. But I just really like the way this piece came together.
Uh,
So, and that's when I started the big one. It was out of here's another one, out of these smaller paintings. I said, well, let me try a big one, but it didn't work,
well, I'm proud of
and
you
that's
for
okay.
doing bigger because I know that's what we talked about in class, that that's what you wanted to do. And I'm
Yeah,
like, I need to
yeah.
work smaller. And everyone's like, I need to work bigger. And I'm like, the weirdo that's like huge paintings.
I always worked small because I live in a Manhattan apartment. I
Yeah.
don't have the room, and to scale up is hard.
Yes.
I didn't realize how difficult it would be, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I want to go a little bit bigger, but now my daughter moved back home from college. She just graduated, and I'm like, I don't have a room anymore. So I got to work around that.
uh,
So we'll see.
so, what is next for you creatively?
I think I'm not really sure. I think this summer I'm going to I say this so much, but I never do it. I'm going to turn off social media for a bit and shut out the noise and just try to let my recent travels to Indonesia get out on the canvas because I haven't done that yet.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
still journaling about my trip, but I haven't really worked out color palettes yet. I've done a little, but nothing worth talking about. So I think this summer that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna focus on that and just kind of relax into my art. It's been a crazy past couple of months with graduation, getting her moved back home, getting rid of stuff from her apartment in Boston, and our trip was like 2.5 weeks, which we never go away for that long. So, and now it's just kind of like, all right, I need to hunker down, settle down, and summer is a good time for that. So
Well, that's a good
that's
idea.
what I think I'm going to do.
Where can people find and support your work?
Oh, thank you. On Instagram, I
Okay.
am Patricia underscore Dattoma dot art.
Okay. I'll put that
And
on right here.
okay. And in my bio, I have a link to my newsletter, which I promise you I don't spam people. I think the last one I sent out was a couple of months ago, so
Yeah.
but I send out my newsletter. I'm also on Studio to Gallery, which is Sonia Burrell's platform for artists and collectors.
Oh,
Um, I'm on Artsy for 2 paintings with Warren's Contemporary and Create Projects.
okay.
And I have a website. The link is in bio.
Okay.
It's a work in progress. Let's just put it like that.
Yeah.
It's a tough one for me,
Yeah.
but we'll get there. It's on Canva right now, so
Okay.
but it's functional.
Cool. Any upcoming shows? Any prints you want to promote?
No, I do have a show coming up July 2nd through the month of July at
Okay.
the 440 Gallery in Brooklyn,
Okay.
and it's called Harmony and Chaos. And that's where this little painting will be for sale,
Awesome.
available. And it should be a great show. The opening is next Thursday. I'm really excited, from 4 to 6. So if anyone's local to the New York City area, I would love to see you there and meet you there. So it's 440 Gallery, which is on 6th Avenue in Brooklyn. Easy to get to, not a pain in the neck.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so that's my big thing right now.
Oh,
So,
awesome.
and this podcast, I'm very excited to be on this podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. So thank you so much, Patricia, for coming
Oh,
on.
thank you.
Ah, that was so much
This was
fun.
great. It was fun. It was great to chat with you. It really was. And I wish you all the best success with this, because I think this is fabulous to have a platform for artists
Thank you.
to just chit chat about art.
Yeah. And what they're thinking, what
Mm-hmm.
comes out of them.
Exactly.
I don't I
Exactly.
don't need to know how to I don't sorry, but I don't need to learn how to uh, keep myself from writer's block because I don't have writer's block. I need to talk about other people.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is
Yes.
great. Thank you so much, Derek. It was so much fun.
My pleasure. It was nice talking to you, Miss Patricia, and you'll see the episode up here soon.
Excellent. Great.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.